England 0, Slovenia 0. This is dire. Now, I'm not going to talk about this game in particular and go into all the grilling details. It was a wonderful 0-0 draw. But I'm going to talk about the bigger problem, which is the need for drastic change. And I don't think that's going to come at this tournament, which essentially means at some point England are going out. That's horrible to say. That really is, because I generally believe that England had a real chance of winning this tournament. I thought that, you know, coming into it, there's obviously going to be a couple of big surprise nations that are going to come up. Austria looked very good. They won the group. The Dutch have looked poor. That looks like, as of right now, who England are going to get in the next round, although that's not yet confirmed. The French obviously finished second. There's a couple of teams that maybe haven't quite performed the way that they usually would. Someone like Croatia, for example, are now out of the competition. But forget that all for now. This tournament is very winnable for England. It still is very winnable. I just don't think it's going to happen because that drastic change is not going to come. Now, let's talk about what this drastic change is. And I spoke in the last video about the needing for a left-hand side, and we didn't have that again last night. Jude Bellingham was completely, and I'll say this, I've got a lot of time for Jude Bellingham. There's a lot of pressure on him as the sort of star boy of this tournament for England, but there was so many times in this game where he just did not appear. You know, he was not at the races. He wasn't up to scratch. I don't know if the pressure is getting to him, if the system's not working, whatever it is. Either way, it didn't work for Jude Bellingham. And actually, for Phil Foden, when he came inside, he was a lot better. Now, Phil Foden, of course, has been thrown out on that left-hand side. In the second half, England picked up. Jude Bellingham ended up playing that left-wing role, which I don't know if he's ever played before at club level or anything like that. I don't think he's played it for Real Madrid because of the wingers that they've got. But it just didn't make a lot of sense. And it sort of felt like Southgate was trying to keep everyone happy by keeping people on the pitch rather than going and winning a game of football. You know, yes, fine. England have topped the group. We're on the better half of the draw. The French, the Spanish, the Germans, the Portuguese, all on the other half of the draw. We will end up with Italy on our side of the draw. Probably going to get Holland and Belgium as well, I think, if things go the way that they are currently lining up to go. So it's not necessarily an easy side of the draw, but there's definitely a route to the final for England should we pick up our performances and take the opportunities. I just don't think that's going to come because of the fact that Southgate refuses to play people that are there on merit but just are not getting a look in. And one of my sort of the big talking point coming into the tournament when we spoke about the team, Luke Shaw at left back, which I've spoken about before. We needed to take another left back. I can't believe Tyreek Mitchell didn't go when you absolutely full well know that Luke Shaw is always going to be a doubt to miss even the whole tournament, at least part of it. You needed a left back that was fit and ready to go. Even if they weren't perfect in Tyreek Mitchell, I still would have taken him 100%. But forget about that for now. The attacking power that England have got, and we've scored 2 goals in this tournament. 2. We have scored, the whole group, I mean, the whole of what we in Group C, whatever it is, scored less goals in the whole group than there was in the first game of the tournament, Germany versus Scotland. That is embarrassing for the group as a whole. Not only England, but as a whole, that is embarrassing. And what I don't understand is when you have so much firepower that we're talking about leaving Rashford at home and Maddison at home and Grealish at home, you're talking about taking Gordon and Eze and Palmer and all these other people. Play them. Actually use them. Because Slovenia last night were happy with the draw. They were really happy with the draw and they've qualified now. And that it's great for them. You know, fair play to Slovenia. You got the result that you needed. But when you've got the players that we have available to us, make changes, bring people on half an hour to go, 40 minutes to go. You know, we've got Ivan Toney who hasn't even had a look in yet. Ollie Watkins has played, 25 minutes, I think, maybe. But can you tell me, of all the forwards yesterday, who really did anything? Who's really done anything so far this tournament as a whole in terms of forwards for England? Now, I'm going to say this. Saka, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I don't watch Arsenal every week. I find them a bit boring to watch, I have to say. But what I will say is England's best performer going forward over the last 3 games has been Bukayo Saka. Fine, brilliant. He wants to play the sort of inverted winger. He wants to come inside, really try and get onto his left foot and really try and make an impact by whipping balls into the box, getting shots off, all that sort of stuff. Wicked, fantastic, love to see it. Now, if Saka is a natural right winger, as people are saying he is, I know Ian Wright is saying he's a natural left winger, which we'll come on to in a moment. If you've got that power and he is the person who is the only person performing, please tell me why Cole Palmer was brought on yesterday to replace him. Because I'm not going to lie, I was very happy that Cole Palmer came on, but it should not have been for Saka. England were a goal away from going massively into a terrible part of the draw for this tournament. We'd have been faced with a route to the final that would have consisted something along the lines of Germany, Spain, France, whoever we get in the final. That would have been our route had Denmark have scored one goal. One goal. If Denmark would have got one, we would have been absolutely done for. Because we would not have come up against any one of these big boys with them in full confidence and us just doing nothing, essentially. And it really is problematic for England. I like the fact that Cole Palmer came on. It should not have been for Bukayo Saka, because Saka was the only person offering something on that right-hand side. Saka can go down the outside. He can come inside as well. When you're not getting the support from the fullbacks, which, let's be honest, let's give credit where it's due. We've conceded one goal this tournament, and it was an absolute screamer. It was a screamer. If you can go and win tournaments by only conceding 2 goals, great, fantastic. We love to see it. But you need to score goals in that process. You can't go and draw every single game 0-0, essentially, go all the way to the final and then win it on penalties. What a boring way to win that is. And let's be honest, when you get to a point, we get to a final, you're not playing a team that you're necessarily going to keep a clean sheet against. And whoever we come up against in this next round, the round of 16, which I think is probably going to end up being the Dutch. Obviously, by the time you're watching it, that might be different. But as it currently stands, if we play the Dutch, all they have to do is score once and we're done. Because we are not scoring 2, playing with this current options that we've got. You need to think about the ability this England team has to go and just break teams down. Just go and absolutely kill it. I've seen people that are defending, oh yeah, well, England had to play against a low block. How many teams in the Premier League play with a low block? How many? And how many teams in the Premier League get results against the low blocks? A lot of them. Because these are people that should be challenging on European stages. Arsenal in the Champions League, City in the Champions League, even Chelsea, Champions League winners a couple of years ago. We break teams down on low blocks. That's just what English teams can do. And we're very good at it because of the fact we face it every single week in the Premier League. It's a testament to our football. But what's going on at the moment is people just running out of ideas. And I'll be honest with you, this is where the big thing is going to come. I think Harry Kane's had it. I'm going to say it. I think that in an England shirt, he's just not giving those performances that we need. If you look at the stats going back the whole time he's played for England, look at who he scored the goals against. Look at who they are. Come back to this video. Take a pause. Come back to this video. Have a look at who Harry Kane's England goals have come against to make him England's all-time top goal scorer. And tell me if that's a centre forward you want starting for you. He doesn't move. If he does move, he trots deep. He tries to get involved in the midfield play. He can't run. It's problematic. And there was a couple of times where Saka and Foden, to be fair to him, did get down the left-hand side a couple of times. But when you've constantly got the 2 right-footed players on that left-hand side, it just kills it. But that's a different matter. Foden gets down the outside. Who's he pulling the ball back to? Who's in the middle of the box to tap one home? Who is the best finisher in world football supposed to be at literally that job? Harry Kane. And where is he? He's disappeared. Now, Gareth Southgate, I know for a fact, is not going to drop Harry Kane. He needs to give him a strong talking to, is the polite way of saying it. There's a few other words that you could use. I'll let you use your imagination for them. But realistically, you need to dig people out. Because if Bellingham is not performing, for whatever reason, if it's because confidence is an issue, if it's because the system isn't working, as Gareth Southgate, you need to be the person who is going to turn around and go, no, this needs to work, this needs to change, I'm going to do this. It's my decision and I'm going to stand by it. But what's currently going on at the moment is Gareth Southgate is playing this sort of safe approach. Gareth Southgate is on £5 million a season to be the England head coach. And when it comes to major tournaments, that is where he earns his money, to go and make differences, to go and win games of football. I will always be very grateful to Gareth Southgate for what he's done for the England team to get us to the point where we've been. But if we want to get over the line and start playing proper expansive football and teams would actually fear us, then we need to get rid of him. I'll be honest with you. I don't like calling for people's heads really, but unless we see change, this drastic change, which I don't bank on us having, we've got a big problem, and that's not going to win us tournaments. And this wasted generation that we're going to have, how many more are we going to have throughout our history? We've already seen it with the golden generation. You know, got a defence of Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Ashley Cole, Gary Neville, Lampard, Gerrard, Beck, Scholes, Rooney, whoever you want to throw in there. We've already had one wasted generation. Let's not waste another one. If you can't play Foden and Bellingham together, if that is something that you think, because they both want to play in that number 10 role, if that's something that you think is going to be problematic for England, and I think all England fans at the moment are saying, unless you can play both of them inside, then you're sort of struggling, because they want to occupy the same space. You can't throw one out on the left wing, because clearly it's not worked for either one of them. But at some point, Gareth Southgate has got to make that £5 million decision to say, right, which direction are we going in here? Do we start Bellingham and then bring Foden off the bench? It will get a lot of people going, oh, you can't do that. If you did it the other way around, if you said, right, we're going to bring Bellingham off the bench and start Foden, oh, you can't do that. But you've got to strike fear into teams. And at the moment, with all the attacking talent that we've got, we're seeing all of our forwards get 10, 15 minutes at the end of a game. They're not going to impact it. It's almost like Gareth Southgate wanted to draw yesterday. And I haven't seen any of the comments from him. I haven't seen his interviews or anything after the game. But very simply put, it's just not good enough. This is England. And we should be able to go up to teams and strike fear into it with this squad that we've got. You look at France at the moment. They are not good at the moment. They are struggling to score goals. They have scored the same amount of goals in this tournament as England have. And one of them was an own goal. But yet everyone will go, I do not want to play France. I do not want to play France. But when England come into the mix, I think the Dutch, if it is the Dutch that we'll get, will go, yeah, we'll give that a go. We'll give that a go 100%, because they've already got a 0-0 draw against the French. I think they'll look at us and go, yeah, we can beat that England team. 100% we can. You've got to give credit to the defence. As I said before, we have kept clean sheets. That's fine. I can live with that. We've conceded one wonder goal. Fine. But I want to go and win games of football. I don't want to go and not lose them. I want to go and win games of football. Strike fear into those, those opponents that we have, whoever we come up against, because I don't know quite what the route to the final is as of right now. But England have got a big problem on their hands, which is essentially something needs to change. If it's me, I'll be honest with you, I'm starting Ollie Watkins up front. And I'm going to probably start Anthony Gordon at left wing. And I'm probably going to end up dropping either Foden or Bellingham. As of right now, I know he scored in the tournament, but I'd probably drop Bellingham because it's 2 games that he's done nothing. That's big conversations that need to be had. I get you want to try and get all your best players in, but realistically, it's not doable. England needs to come up with an idea. And when I say England, I mean Gareth Southgate needs to have the opportunity in his hands to go and make changes, be bold, be brave, go and win the tournament rather than not lose it. Because this is not good enough. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do a video for the next round. So if England do go out, you will not get a reaction, which is unfortunate. Just some other things I have to do at the same time. But hopefully, we'll be talking about a quarter-final against whoever, and we can all start looking forward to that. But we'll have to see it when it comes. But for now, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're new around here. We're trying to get the videos going back regularly, so let's all support where we can. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. England needs to do a hell of a lot better.